There's a reason some men are impossible for women to forget, even when the relationship ends, even when logic says she should move on. Some men stay in her mind for years, and it's usually not because they were the richest, the best looking, or the most romantic. It's because they triggered something psychological, something emotional, something dangerous. Most men believe attraction is about impressing women, but emotional attachment works differently. Attachment is created when a man becomes emotionally unpredictable in a way that feels meaningful, not toxic, not manipulative, just emotionally difficult to fully figure out, because the female mind becomes deeply engaged when emotions are mixed with uncertainty. Think about it. People rarely obsess over what feels completely guaranteed. They obsess over what feels emotionally unfinished. That's why certain men become unforgettable. They create emotional tension without even trying. A dangerous kind of tension. One moment he is deeply present. The next moment he disappears into his own world. Not to manipulate her, but because his life does not revolve around constant validation. And that changes everything. Most men overfocus on women too quickly, replying instantly, explaining everything, giving constant reassurance. At first, it seems caring, but psychologically, too much emotional availability too early can reduce emotional intensity. Because mystery disappears, and without mystery, emotional imagination dies. Women emotionally attach strongest when they feel there is always another layer to discover. A man with depth activates curiosity. And curiosity is emotionally addictive. But here's the part nobody talks about. Women often attach harder to men who remain emotionally composed during emotional situations. When she becomes emotional, and he stays calm instead of reactive, her brain unconsciously associates him with emotional safety. That creates trust, not the weak kind of trust, the kind that feels grounding. Most people are emotionally reactive today. Arguments escalate instantly. Egos collide. People defend themselves before understanding each other. But a man who stays calm under pressure creates psychological contrast. He feels rare, and rarity increases emotional value. There's also another dangerous psychological factor: emotional memory. Women often remember how a man made them feel more than what he actually said. A man who creates emotional experiences instead of predictable conversations becomes difficult to replace mentally. That's why emotionally intelligent men often leave the deepest impact. They understand pacing. They understand silence. They understand that tension can sometimes create stronger attachment than attention. For example, a man who constantly seeks approval becomes emotionally readable. But a man who is emotionally centered creates uncertainty in a powerful way. Not because he plays games, because he is not emotionally controlled by outcomes. And that emotional independence feels powerful to women. It signals strength without needing to announce it. Now here's where it becomes dangerous. The female brain naturally searches for emotional meaning. So when a man is calm, disciplined, slightly mysterious, and emotionally present at the same time, she begins thinking about him even when he is absent. She tries to decode him, understand him, predict him, and the more emotional energy invested into understanding someone, the deeper the attachment becomes. This is why emotionally balanced men often create stronger attachment than overly romantic men. Romance creates excitement, but emotional depth creates psychological imprinting. And psychological imprinting is hard to erase, especially when the man gives her something modern dating rarely provides: emotional stability without desperation. That combination is extremely rare today. Most people either become emotionally cold or emotionally needy. Very few know how to stay warm without losing self-control. But the men women attach to most deeply usually share one trait: they make women feel emotions without forcing them. No chasing, no performance, no begging for attention. Just presence. Strong presence. And presence is dangerous because it bypasses logic. A woman may logically know she should move on, but emotionally, she still feels connected to the man who made her feel understood, challenged, calm, excited, and emotionally safe all at once. That kind of emotional experience becomes unforgettable. and most men never realize. The strongest attachment is rarely created through words. It is created through emotional experience.